What's up, guys? Massify here. Hopefully you've had an amazing holiday. I know it was hectic, chaotic, a lot of social interaction, a lot of kids screaming and all that for me, but it still was great. I still had a wonderful time. I wanted to hop on here today and talk about two very specific things in Throne and Liberty that I think need to be addressed as soon as possible. Number one is going to be Flashwave, okay? I know literally, if you've been in any form of GVG or Zerg vs Zerg, you have been hit by Flashwave. You're either one, using Flashwave constantly, or two, getting hit by Flashwave constantly. Now, this skill, I think what its intention was to give bows a more like AoE ability. It heals, it does damage, it has sort of a wide area of effect, but it heals, it does damage, it has a very wide area of effect. So of course, it is going to be completely spammed into oblivion, and thus every single PvP engagement that has more than a small 6-man team, for example, is going to just completely devolve into flashwaving. Now, this is coming from someone who's a crossbow dagger, right? Like, I actually jump into the back line and spin to win, which I know a lot of people are annoyed with too, but the best thing about crossbow dagger is you have to get into the correct position in order to execute a good spin to win. Number two is that you can be literally bumped out of a spin to win super easily. So not only do I have to jump into a big pack of people and spin to win, I have to set myself up so that I'm not just going to get pushed out by a tank, or I'm not going to get CC'd out of spinning. Whereas Flashwave, literally all you have to do is get into the front line where the tanks are, shoot off the Flashwave, right? And then it just absolutely obliterates everything in its path. Throne and Liberty really wants to have longevity in the MMO space, especially in the PvP MMO space, which is already pretty niche. It definitely needs to address this issue. It needs to nerf Flashwave somehow. And I know they've talked about maybe making some changes to it, but this is my opinion. I think what they should do is completely remove Flashwave's ability to do damage. Now, some people might think like, wow, that's wicked extreme, that like you're completely removing a damage dealing ability from that kit. But hear me out. Think about this. If Flashwave did not exist as a damaging ability, if it didn't cause damage, right? If it just healed your teammates or something like that, what would the PvP landscape then look like? Well, by eliminating Flashwave as a damage dealing ability, what ends up happening is now every other class who deals damage becomes relevant again, right? Every other skill, all of the nuances of PvP, especially in small scale, become relevant in large scale. So now it's not just a AoE spam back and forth. I mean, you have other classes like staff and stuff like that that can do AoE abilities, but it's nothing close to what Flashwave can do. But I do want to move on to the second thing I wanted to touch base on today, which was the fact that Spear is coming out on December 5th. Now, this is something that people are completely polar opposites on. You have some people who are thinking like Spear is going to be so great, it's going to be amazing, it's just going to add so much depth to Throne and Liberty. And you have the other end of the spectrum who thinks like Spear is going to be a meme, right? We've seen some of the skills that have come out now. We've seen some of the videos on exactly what Spear is and what it entails. But the thing for me that I think is the most important to realize with this is not even whether the class is going to be busted or not, whether the class is going to be memey or not. What really we need to think about is, how is anyone going to be switching to this class anyway? First of all, we get almost zero ability to upgrade skills. Like, you have to do your daily contracts to get papers, or you go into open world dungeon farming to get papers to upgrade into books, right? Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm crossbow dagger, and I don't even have enough books to fully spec that out yet. And I've been playing since early access. So how are we going to be able to switch all of those skills over into Spear? So Spear is not even going to be relevant on day one of release because of the fact that most people's skills are gonna be super low leveled unless they do some sort of event or some sort of battle pass that helps us like level up these books and get these skills up to speed. Not to mention, it's a completely brand new weapon. I'm sure we'll have to farm to get the higher tier of this weapon. So on December 5th, there really is going to be no impact from Spear. I think it's just going to be something that might become more relevant later, and that's kind of the problem I have with it, right? Like, I'm actually excited for Spear. I think it is gonna, I'm leaning more towards that it is going to be a solid weapon. I'm gonna try to pair it with crossbows. I think it kind of makes sense. I might look around and see if I can get a good build out of that. But the real issue is that a new weapon is coming out, right? Which everyone is excited for, but there's no way to really use the weapon until much later. We're gonna have to grind for it, at least everything that I know right now. Like, maybe they make some big changes, or maybe they give us skill books, or maybe they allow us some way to transfer into Spear if we want. But as of right now, it's looking like we're gonna have to grind pretty heavily for it. And I mean, knowing Throne and Liberty up until this point, they really want people to grind anyway. So I'm pretty disappointed about that, because they have an opportunity to ignite some excitement back into the community. And I've seen a lot of people at this point talking about taking a break from the game or leaving the game. I think with just some small tweaks, Throne and Liberty can really become a much better PvP game, a little bit more balanced, like I said, with Flashwave, a little bit more, you know, just give us a little bit of books, man. Just, I'm begging you, please, NCSoft, just give us some books. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about Flashwave. Are you sick of it like I am at this point? Let me know what your thoughts are on Spear. Are you even going for Spear? Do you think Spear is going to be a meme? Or are you just trying to continue leveling up your main, and whoever goes Spear is just kind of taking a side path to waste their time for quite a while? Let me know in the comments down below. Drop a like on the video and don't even bother subscribing.